Picture this. You're gearing up for a flight right in the middle of a U.S. government shutdown, and the headlines are screaming about shortages in air traffic controllers. Is your journey about to turn into a nightmare, or can you relax in your seat? Stick around, because we're about to unpack what the experts are saying about flying safely through this turmoil. And trust me, it's not as scary as it sounds, at least according to the pros. By Megan Cirillo, reporter. Money Watch. https://www.cbsnews.com/team. Megan Cirillo, based in New York, is a dedicated reporter for CBS Money Watch, where she dives deep into stories about small businesses, workplace dynamics, healthcare trends, consumer habits, and personal finance matters. You'll often catch her on CBS News 24/7, breaking down her latest findings. Read full bio. https://team/Megan Cirillo. October 14, 2025, 4:17 p.m. EDT. With the U.S. government shutdown kicking off on October 1st, some airports are dealing with fewer air traffic controllers on duty, leaving passengers to ponder if their upcoming trips come with extra risks. But here's where it gets controversial. While we've seen an increase in flight delays across certain regions, experts are quick to stress that these hiccups don't mean danger is lurking in the skies. Travelers might recall past shutdowns where TSA officers and air traffic controllers reported higher rates of sick leaves, which piled on the delays and cancellations. Even now, as these essential workers clock in without paychecks, the disruptions are noticeable. Yet, aviation specialists remain upbeat. Safety protocols aren't taking a break just because funding has stalled. Henry Hartevelt, the founder and president of Atmosphere Research Group, a respected travel advisory outfit, reassured CBS News that standards from the FAA stay rock solid. Katie Nastro, a seasoned air travel expert at the trick booking site Going.com, points out that these staffing challenges are actually prompting extra caution. To illustrate, imagine traffic controllers deciding to slow down air traffic or ground operations to add an extra safety buffer. It's like hitting the brakes to avoid a potential fender bender. Folks should take comfort in knowing that these measures are in place as a safeguard, she explains. It doesn't signal any alarms, it's just smart precaution. For beginners wondering about this, think of it as how a cautious driver might slow down in foggy weather to stay safe. Same principle here, preventing issues before they start. But Nastro raises a bigger point for travelers. How much hassle are you willing to tolerate? In other words, the real question isn't just about safety, but about your patience with possible waits. And this is the part most people miss. Despite a few notable incidents this year, like plane collisions on the ground at LaGuardia or near misses with military jets near Reagan National Airport, data paints a reassuring picture. A recent 2024 study from MIT revealed that the odds of a fatal accident in commercial flights globally stood at 1 in every 13.7 million passenger boardings from 2018 to 2022. That's even better than the previous decade, 2008 to 2017, where the risk was 1 in 7.9 million. For those new to aviation stats, this means flying is statistically one of the safest ways to travel, far safer than driving. For example, thanks to rigorous checks and technologies. On Monday, Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy addressed these concerns on Fox Business News, emphasizing the priority of traveler well-being. Our goal is to ensure your journey is secure, he said, explaining how if staffing falls short, operations get deliberately slowed to maintain safety. He highlighted how even a handful of absent controllers can create a domino effect across the airspace, leading to widespread delays. Duffy also shared that controllers feel deeply frustrated by the situation, working tirelessly despite the uncertainty. Sheldon Jacobson, a professor of computer science and aviation security expert at the University of Illinois Urbana-Champaign, echoes this view. While these shortages cause frustration with wait times, he tells CBS News that they don't compromise safety. Service might be affected, but safety holds strong, he notes. Still, not everyone is fully at ease. Laura Einsettler, a U.S. airline captain, expresses concern that if the shutdown drags on, the unpaid status could weigh on controllers' focus. For how long can they concentrate when worries about bills, rent, or feeding their families creep in? She asks CBS News. As time goes on without pay, distractions mount, potentially impacting performance and, by extension, safety. This counterpoint sparks debate. Could financial stress really creep into such high-stakes jobs, or is the system too robust to allow that? Scott Keyes, the founder of Going.com, acknowledges that some fear is natural. After all, being 30,000 feet up isn't everyone's idea of a stroll in the park. We all have that built-in worry about heights, so any excuse to fret about increased risks makes sense, he says. But he urges reassurance. Pilots, who aren't government workers, have the ultimate authority to ground a flight if anything feels off, whether it's bad weather, mechanical glitches, or staffing woes. They're constantly chatting with air traffic control, checking radars, and evaluating the whole aerial scene, Keyes adds. Sure, delays and cancellations are on the rise, but that doesn't mean accidents are more likely. Henry Hardevelt agrees, noting that pilots inspect their aircraft thoroughly before takeoff. The decision to fly rests with them, not the FAA or the shutdown, he explains, making it clear that passenger safety depends on trained professionals on the ground and in the cockpit. Even Airlines for America, the trade group for major carriers, chimed in with a statement last week. They confirm that flying remains secure, though controller shortages might stretch things out, causing more spacing between flights and occasional cancellations. Bring your patients to the airport, they advise, because while it's safe, the pace might slow. In wrapping this up, the consensus from experts is clear. Flying during the shutdown is still as safe as ever, with safeguards in place to prevent shortcuts. But here's the controversial twist. Some worry that prolonged unpaid work could eventually blur the lines between inconvenience and true risk. Is this reassurance enough to ease your mind? Or do you think more needs to be done to protect travelers? What if controllers' personal stresses do start affecting their work? Where do you draw the line? Share your opinions in the comments. We'd love to hear if you agree, disagree, or have your own shutdown travel stories. Edited by Elaine Scherter, https://cbsnews.com/Elaine Scherter.